If you saw our previous Fix or Flop video, you might have noticed an obvious and slightly embarrassing omission: safe mode. What every troubleshooter should know about when it comes to software. The comment section was filled, to be frank, with many replies about how I forgot to use safe mode, and these are totally justified. I 100% agree with you. See, for some context, I'd flashed a video driver that ended up bricking a build of ours, not this one, but another one, and the way I sought to get around it was by swapping in a card with different silicon from a different manufacturer so that it wouldn't have to rely on that broken driver. I used NVIDIA instead of AMD. And while that ended up working, we could have simply just used safe mode and eliminated the need for a second card entirely. So that's what I want to take a few minutes to discuss in this video here. What is safe mode? How does it work? And how can we get into it? Stay with me. Fellas, it's that time of the year again. Time for frothy beards and, well, yeah, I'm still working on mine. And Manscaped's new Performance Package 4.0 is here to take care of you. In it, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0, a cordless trimmer built with advanced skin-safe technology set to ensure smooth cuts pretty much anywhere. New to the collection is the Weed Whacker, good for nose and ear trimming. Visit manscaped.com or click the link below and use my promo code SALAZAR to get 20% off plus free international shipping along with 2 free gifts. So let's get started with what safe mode is. Essentially, it's a way for a user to start Windows with a very stripped down basic set of files, basically the ones it needs to function without relying on external software and things that could corrupt the operating system. It avoids the auto-execute batch file that initializes and starts various programs automatically when the system first boots up, some of which could, again, be problematic, and that's really the goal here. You want to use safe mode when you suspect that something is inherently wrong with software. Maybe you downloaded a file that is preventing certain tasks from starting, or maybe, like in my case, you downloaded a nuked driver that prevented picture out when the disk initialized. See, loading into safe mode also defaults the system to basic VGA drivers, which aren't reliant on third-party manufacturer-specific programs from Radeon and NVIDIA. This is why your refresh rate and resolution tend to look a bit, look a bit rougher, maybe 30 Hz and 1080p or 720p when you're in safe mode. But that's okay. In fact, that's really what you want if all you want to do is have a picture to navigate through a list of programs and delete what's causing the issue at hand. And that's exactly what I should have done in episode 19 of Fix or Flop Season 1. Instead, I bypassed the corrupt Radeon driver by swapping cards with a Team Green counterpart, which, again, Radeon drivers weren't compatible with in the first place. It was still, I guess in terms of the end result, a correct approach because it did fix the issue, but it required a second graphics card, and specifically one from an opposing manufacturer. It's a lot more to ask of somebody, just have a second card laying around, than it is to simply tell them to hop into safe mode. So how do we enter safe mode? Well, there are a few ways, and one of them was inadvertently shown actually in episode 19 because I'd been resetting the system so many times. See, if your PC does restart abruptly over and over after I think 3 or 4 tries, Windows will load into the recovery window pretty much automatically. And from there, finding safe mode is pretty straightforward. Click Troubleshoot, then click Advanced Options, and then click Startup Settings. Then you can click Restart. And at this point, when your system powers back on, you should be able to press F4 from the prompt to enter safe mode, or F5 to enter safe mode with networking if what you're doing requires internet access. But if you can get into your operating system with Picture in the first place, there's actually a better way. Without multiple restarts, the recovery window can be accessed from your settings panel in Windows 10. You can select the Updates and Security tab, and then Recovery, and under Advanced Startup, select Restart Now. From here, it's pretty much the same as before. Now, if for whatever reason you can get to your sign-in screen, but you can't actually get into the operating system, all you need to do is press and hold the Shift key, and then from there you can select the power icon at the bottom left or bottom right hand corner of the screen and then click Restart. Make sure you're holding down the Shift key while you're doing this and you should be good to go. It should reboot into that recovery window. With Windows 11, mind you, the methods to enter the recovery environment are pretty much the same, although if you want to do it via the settings panel, you need to, instead of clicking the Updates and Security tab, you'll want to click the System tab. I don't have Windows 11 installed on any of my machines, and I frankly don't plan to for a good while, at least until some of the other kinks are hashed out, and it usually takes a few months. But many are making the switch, so that's why I wanted to mention it. By the way, if any of these steps were confusing or difficult to follow, I've linked a support doc from Microsoft directly down in the video description, and that there details the steps that I just went over to enter safe mode on both operating systems. So this here is what your desktop should more or less look like, with the exception of the plethora of icons on mine. When you enter safe mode, you can see we have no desktop background, it's just black, and we have the safe mode notifications at the corners of the screen, along with the Windows build release here at the top. There is nothing in the system tray. It doesn't even give us an option to open it because, well, everything's been closed. This is, again, bare bones. It is stripped down. That's exactly how we like it. I don't even have network adapters enabled, so this is safe mode without networking, and you can see that it's all been disabled. We get nothing here. So something you might end up doing once you enter safe mode is swing on down here to the Updates and Security tab, and then you might want to attempt to roll back to an earlier version of Windows. This can also be done in the recovery environment, so this isn't the only place to take care of it. But if you, let's say, update Windows and then stuff is super glitchy, very spotty, just enter safe mode or enter the recovery environment and roll back to an earlier version of Windows. You can also hop into your control panel and click on Programs and Features, and here is where you could uninstall those very buggy graphics drivers if you really wanted. If you have DDU already installed, you could also open DDU and do it that way. I actually prefer using DDU because it will scrape and destroy everything related to that graphics driver, not just the driver itself, but everything else that has NVIDIA in front of it, essentially, that was installed along with the driver in the beginning. So this is another place you could do it, but again, if you don't have DDU installed, you could always enter safe mode with networking, and then you could download DDU, and from there, obviously, get rid of that faulty driver. So this is what I should have done in episode 19. I really don't even need to be in Programs and Features anymore. With DDU installed, I can just open that up, and then you want to click Clean and Shut Down. That'll turn your system off after all the drivers or remnants of a driver have been destroyed. And then when Windows boots back up out of safe mode, you can then attempt to reinstall those drivers or re-download them. Everything should be fine by that point. Now, there are some fancier things you could be doing here. You could be hopping into your registry and editing files there. You could be running some batch files, trying to figure out what is going on. If you have a virus, something like that, maybe running safe mode could help. But I just wanted to give you a brief kind of run through of what this looks like so that you're not freaked out when your screen's black and you're just like wondering where everything is, why nothing's running. That's the point. This is safe mode, and it's designed to be as stripped down as possible to eliminate any potential software conflict that you might have run into previously. So it's actually pretty cool. And again, it should be in every troubleshooter's tool bag. So hopefully this clears things up just a bit, at least if you're curious about how to get into safe mode. It's a bit more time consuming than older Windows operating systems, so that's a bit annoying, but still it's possible. If you've never used safe mode before, you've probably never run into a critical software issue, so you are very lucky, but it's a great troubleshooting tool to have at your disposal. And again, that's why I'm embarrassed for failing to even mention it in episode 19. Sometimes as a one-man show, I get caught up in like my own groupthink. I have no one to really challenge my approach, and I wish I did. So I have tunnel vision, so to speak, when it comes to that. And so yeah, that's the best excuse I have, and I'm sorry that it came to this, but I am thankful for those in the comments who were very professional and called out the omission. It 100% should have been included, and I'll do my best going forward in that series to take advantage of it where applicable. Again, it's a great tool for troubleshooting software especially. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed it, be sure to let me know by giving this one a thumbs up. That would be appreciated, and consider subscribing if you have not already. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning with me.